that was, even though, everything is her support to the president, but the Blue Lake is a place where, from her conversation I listened to with the journalists on the radio, I think it's close to her heart. What are the preparations? What is going to happen? How does the first lady? What does she want to do with the Blue Lake?
Perfect. So, again, unlike other conventional first ladies, this is not a first lady who wants to take up just one issue and run with it. You see her everywhere doing things that will benefit the people. Because whatever should benefit the people, whatever should change and transform lives for the better, those are the things that she wants to be part of. And that's just what drives her passion. The first lady is interested in every positive about Liberia. So, see, she's toured a lot of counties. She's gone to see some of the beautiful scenes, beautiful geographical features of our country, and she's in love with them. She's gone to the beaches of Monrovia. She's gone to Sunset Beach in Buchanan. She's also been able to go to Grand Cape Mount County, seeing those beautiful beaches. And she went to the Blue Lake in Bowman County. At her first sight, she fell in love with that area. And in fact, there was already, some existing structures, but they've all been vandalized. I think the story says that there were the Omeo peacekeepers who were there and tried to put that place in a shape. So, it's a place that is quite, suitable for relaxation. And the First Lady being someone who actually cares about family too, and the fact that there is a need to bring out those positives and show to the world that Liberia is not all the negatives that all people are saying. Liberia is unique in every way possible. There are things and features and beautiful scenes in Liberia that you can't find any part of the world. So she wants to see how these areas are transformed to be not just an attraction to Liberian families, but also to tourists internationally, and to also be an attraction to investors. Now, the First Lady, like I said initially, all that she does is to support the president and this agenda. Now, what she wants to do at the Blue Lake is a form of economic boost. It's a form of a kind of support to the economy of Bomi and the entire country, because she wants to transform that area into a place where we can find true realization, a true peace of mind, away from the hustle and bustle, the tension in Monrovia, political tension, all of that. Families could just find a place there where you have recreational facilities there, you have place there for accommodation, you have lots of facilities as well as safety measures to protect people going there. So when you go there, you can have real relaxation. And the matter of fact, to maintain that place, you will have to have some young people from that community working there, and jobs will be provided. To maintain that area, you have to have other people coming to ensure that they empower other people too. So jobs will be created. Development will go there because you have infrastructures that will also be improved in that area. A lot of not housing units, but if you may, some structures for accommodation will be there, and obviously the road to that place will be, reconditioned, all of that. So it's a great boost, and it's going to help Bomi, which is crying with lots of issues about unemployment and a lot of things. So that area brings
in the works, right? As we speak, is it something that it's going to happen soon, or
yeah, as we speak, the a lot is happening already, because the First Lady has been visiting that place frequently. She wants to see along the way what is happening there. So a full assessment has already been done. The engineers have reported to her. She's gone back to see. I mean, the president even went there, and you see the structures. The place is cleared or clean and ready, for lots of other works. But as the president said, about that area, the First Lady will not just invest. There has to be some other paperwork, agreements with the people, and all of that. All of those works are now ongoing.
People of the
Yes,
county,
with the people of county. Senator Snow also went along with the president there, and they all have to support. They have to embrace that project because the first is not doing it in isolation. She's not just doing it, as a place that will be completely out of access from the people. It is their facility. She's trying to develop it so that Liberia benefits. Yes, for the good of the county and Liberia at large. That's why I said initially that when the first lady goes out, when she interacts with people, things never remain the same. Things either instantly or gradually change for the positive. And that's one of the cases with Blue Lake. Blue Lake has been lying in ruins. It's a very beautiful scene if you were to see it. It's a very beautiful area. But if it is transformed, a lot can be achieved from there. Also, with the issue of the sun, with Sunset Beach, that's another beautiful area. And hopefully,
thinking about developing that place also.
of course, hopefully something good could come out of there, because she just want to bring out the positives. Because by that, you get to benefit a lot. More people get to see Liberia from a different perspective, to trust the country, to come and invest. And who's going to benefit? The people of Liberia.
Great. So the first lady also, I want to know, the motive behind, the interactions with the young girls on sexual reproductive health in Tottenham.
Well, this is quite a new way, if I may, a very strange thing to see a first lady of the republic coming out to talk to girls about their body, about their menstrual cycle, about their period, if you may, just about how they are to manage themselves hygienically, growing up into becoming an adult. So one may wonder, why is the first lady interested in this? Going so personal to want to know how the girls are faring, how the girls will have to grow up. It shows she's a true mother. But also, as part of her program, the She's You movement, the flagship program of the First Lady, which is aimed at improving the lives of women and girls for a better and prosperous Liberia. Now, this improvement of life is not in just one area. All aspects of a girl, of a woman empowerment, that's what the First Lady sees. Now, we all know that as girls coming up, adolescents, even as boys, there are lots of stages, like the puberty stage, where your body start to have some changes, and that's normal.
So does she deal with specific ages?
Well, yeah.
And
So
I want to know how do these girls react?
yeah, basically, she again, she puts herself in the shoes of those girls, telling them her personal story, how she started to experience these things, being a child who didn't have the right people around her. She was motherless. She didn't have people to give her the kind of advice she would need to take care of herself. She was somebody who was always looking at bigger girls, elderly ladies, getting around them, seeing them how they use the deodorants. She was at 16, she started to work for herself because she didn't have that kind of support. So whatever they did,
so she told them, she will always tell them her
personal life story, so that they
put
too.
yourself in the shoes of the first lady, the woman who is the first lady of the Republic of your country today, also was in
in the same stage.
Your life can even be better
than her. That's what she wants to do. She inspires them to not just see the situation as being the final. Yes, she's using herself as someone who has also experienced hardship, and she has come over it with determination, hard work, and being very focused. So these are the qualities she tries to transfer in these girls, and she wants to do them as frequently as possible so that the girls can have, a role model, somebody they can see and be motivated. Besides, the issue of the period, according to studies, contributes to the high dropout, in enrollment of girls as compared to boys. Now, I understand that some of the girls, adolescent girls from 10 to 15, once they begin to experience their period, they are either ashamed or they just don't know how. So it causes them to stay away from school. And if they stay away from school, how do they get to be someone who they want to be in life? So the first lady comes out there to speak with these girls. Don't be ashamed. This is natural. This is how you do it. So she's been able to, provide like over 400 care packs. And in each of the care packs, you have sanitary pads, you have soap, you have deodorant, we call roll-on. You have toothbrush, toothpaste, hand sanitizer. That's just a small package, but it's a very important package.
So
she shows them how to use these things, and
this is what you use,
what you use, and how you use it. And she wants to continue to provide it for them, so that, because these are our future leaders, if they're not taught properly, they're going to have a misstep along the way. And she doesn't want to do it because she's somebody who struggled in life, and having struggled that way as mother of a nation, she wants the children of Liberia, the women, to take her as an example that nothing is impossible. They can be whoever they want to be, whether it's in a village there in Bama or somewhere in Monrovia. That's why she doesn't stay in Monrovia, in fact, because Monrovia is not Liberia. So, the interaction in Bombing, in Topmanberg, herself directly interacted with the girls, and some of them were like ashamed. Said, no, don't be ashamed. I mean, jokingly, the president,
jokingly, it means a lot to them to have the first lady of the republic,
interacting with them, and for them, for me, in fact, all of them, it was the first time, because they're all teens. It was the first time to interact with a first lady. Then to see a first lady talking to them at that level, putting herself in the shoes, is something that some of them were just, amazed, listening to her. And he even want the session to end, but the first lady had other engagements, so she had to go. But I think a lot of the kids, all of them were happy. A lot of them, have taken cue and will always see themselves as people who are special, not to be defined by the situation. So after that Topmanberg engagement, the first lady ordered her team to do the same engagement in Grand Cape Mount County. So thanks to our chief of office staff, Madam Gil Midem, Jackson Pegbami, who is the director of finance, and our deputy chief of office staff, James K. Kotu Jr. In fact, he was leading the team right there. And the rest of the team, we did that there, and in other areas we were able to distribute these things. So the people know that there is a first lady who cares. And the first lady told them, she is a woman of her word, as a matter of fact, that she will be back. She went to Grand Cape Mount County before, for the pre-launch of the She's You movement. That was before June 2019. She interacted with the women, and she wants to go back. She's in Bombing as frequently as possible. She's in Grand Bassa, she has a project there. Yes. And so she just wants to interact with the people every day, just to know what they feel like and to see how she can change their situation. And that's it. Wherever the president goes, things never remain the same. Instantly or gradually.
Yeah, sure, because wherever she went with the president on this trip, the people of those counties also felt the presence of the first lady, even though they were feeling the presence of the president.
Sure.
She always made interventions that were announced, and we saw you guys working with the
definitely.
Doing more distributions. Are there some amazing moments of the trip you like to talk about before we go to other other things the president or the first lady is involved with?
Yes, again, there were lots of amazing moments, seeing for the first lady, seeing those beautiful cultural performances, quite exciting to her, and she wants to see more of that.
Which
But
one
also,
was more funny? The one in Kinja?
oh, King John. King John. King John was really interesting. King John was really interesting. And I mean, you see what happens, and when people probably have a whole year of hard work and they cannot be motivated, or it's about tension, all that. When the president and first lady goes there and these things happen, they feel, psychologically there's something that happened to them. They never, there's nothing, for example, nothing, let's assume no personal gift or something, but this interaction with the president and first lady alone, gives them the kind of assurance that this leadership cares about us. So there are a lot of things happening. But the fact that the first lady in Swim Mecca, which we're talking about, there's no network connection, and obviously is a kind of difficult situation there for the people. But as the president and the first lady were kind of moving along the crowd, meeting and greeting the people, there are two little smart kids, students in the uniform, and they get a kind of what's up sign to the first thumbs up to the first lady, and for her it was amazing. They were courageous, they were brave. I mean, I'm sure they were so happy that they had to greet the first lady in a different way, and probably they saw themselves in her, so they kind of gave a what's up like that, and she was moved. What kind of children would do that? Call them here, and spoke with them, hugged them, gave them some token. I mean, we've got their contacts. We don't know what's going to happen. But this is the kind of first lady we're talking about, who's moved by the kind of, confidence and talents in children, because she sees beyond those kind of, exhibitions or display of the talents. She sees that if this child, without being shamed, can just do like that to me, it means she has some potential in her that we can develop. We saw that with a 6-year-old girl who was a model queen, performing at the World Tourism Day last year. I mean, just by that confidence and dexterity she displayed, the first day announced a full scholarship. Now she's in the first grade, and the first day is committed to sponsor her until she gets a master's degree. Yes, those kind of moments are what the first lady looks out for when she goes, into the counties to interact. And see the 4-year-old girl, Kuba Zo Paul, a 4-year-old child. You imagine greeting and welcoming the president and the first lady without paper. I mean, children can memorize, but she's 4 years. She's brave. She's not afraid. She's not moved. She's focused. You mean? And that was another. I mean, it was a thrilling moment for not just the first family, but everyone else was there. Yeah. So it was a very great moment. And there are lots of other, moments that, attracted the first lady. And she was so excited, she could not get tired meeting with them. If it were not for the schedule, she would love going on to meet the people. But lots of other issues, and this is what the president loves to do. And hopefully we can go out there, in the next round and her personal rounds, with the people to continue to interact with them.
So how is let's leave the tour now a little bit and talk about, other projects of the first lady.
Yeah, so before we leave the tour, let me just, strike in this point. During the first leg that you said, the first lady went out to a few counties and then the team went. The strategy was to meet with the women. So in each of the 6 counties, we've been able to have this She's You movement engagement, gather the women together, hundreds or more in a hall, speak to them about the first lady's plans for them as, enshrined in the She's You movement, women empowerment, talking about ending mother to child transmission of HIV/AIDS, talking about empowering women in agriculture, talking about infertility, how we try to, stop this whole issue about the community, the husbands pushing out and denigrating, ostracizing women because, after a period of time in the home, the woman cannot give birth, and all of that. Those kinds of situations, President First Lady is working with Merck Foundation to ensure doctors are trained. Over 32 of our doctors and medical practitioners are already going through that process. Some of them are completed. We will have, through this partnership with the between the First Lady and Merck Foundation, some equipment, with the human resource development. There'll be some equipment to address these issues, because according to studies by WHO, women and men they are 50% responsible. Sometimes 50%, most of the time, half of the problems are from the men, half of the problems are from the women. And
what
so
we know today is that everything is transferred
to the woman, and she's so
wife do not have a child, then it's the woman
who cannot produce. The woman is ostracized. So the First Lady is coming in defense of the women with a message that don't ostracize her. Take her as your wife. Go to seek medical treatment, and those facilities will be here soon, and you can have the kind of redress and live together as a family. She's also talking about ending sexual and gender-based violence, especially rape. All forms of SGBV, rape included. She's also talking about the issue about maternal and newborn mortality to be cut off drastically, if not, eliminated, where women can no longer die while giving birth, or children cannot die, just before they reach the age of 5. So all of these, are key points, those pillars on the Shizu movement. We've been able to let the women know about these things that the First Lady is doing for them, and overwhelmingly, they, embrace these ideas. And the second, part of those meetings were to ask what the issues they are facing in the various communities, and they were able to tell us the issue about empowerment, the issue about getting recreation centers, the issue about women's centers, the issue about getting safe homes for people who are, assaulted, survivors of SGBVs, and all of these, various challenges they gave us. We've been able to present to the First Lady, and trust me, if all cannot be done, some of them will certainly be done once the First Lady looks at them, and we can get things. So for the first trip, there was a different strategy for the second leg. So instead of having the meetings, we've been able to go directly to interact directly with the First Lady, interacting with the children, providing some sort of education and giving them gifts. So I just try to talk about the different strategy, and probably the next round, who knows, our illustrious COS, Chief Office Staff, could introduce another strategy for the other tour.
Anyway, howbeit, all of the counties, the president has visited, one way or the other, the women, the children get to feel the presence of the First Lady, which is very, very important.
Certainly.
And just sitting and listening to you talk about, all of those interventions and the meetings you had with those women in the counties, I believe that, their lives, like you said, she never, appears somewhere where somebody is not touched. Yeah, people will feel the presence of the First Lady wherever her team is or she goes, and I think it's very important.
It's important.
If you're a female and you're listening, I don't know when we've had a First Lady in my
very
lifetime,
long time,
who will do such a thing and interact with the people of the nation, especially the women, and especially given how women came to prominence in this country, the background of how women have been suppressed, and now that women are finding a space, and then you have a First Lady who knows that this is the right thing to do. Hats up to the First Lady and team. But let's talk about the city of Hope, Old Folks Home, right?
No, the City of Hope is in Marshall. This is the huge complex.
Oh, okay. I was talking about the one in Buchanan.
Yes, that's the Old Folks Home.
Okay, the Old Folks Home.
Yeah.
Is it, completed now?
Yes, it is. It's almost 100% completed, because the First Lady is someone who believes in doing things to perfection.
Okay.
She doesn't believe in giving to the people a less standard than what she can give her own son.
Wow.
So she has gone there almost every time to make sure she inspect the project. And the reason why it's come this far is because whenever she goes there, and sees what she doesn't expect, it has to be
redone
redone.
the right way.
Yeah, so
That's
you
great.
can expect a serious, high quality at the old folks' home. It's a 30-bedroom facility with lots of other facilities inside, just for the elderly people and our disadvantaged people. Now, the idea came from, first of all, seeing our elderly people, some of them becoming beggars, they're in the streets, and it doesn't look so good to her that people who have helped the younger generation come up to be what they are. And she specifically pointed out these elderly people who have helped her husband, along the way to come to be where he is. They deserve better. They deserve a restoration of their dignity and their respect. We saw the feeding of the elderly, which went like for more than 2 years until the COVID broke out, and we had to suspend that because it had to do with gathering over 2,000, elderly people and disabled people every month, So that was suspended. But on the heels of that, when she visited Buchanan in April 2018, what she saw as the home of the old folks was very deplorable.
Oh, so that was a old folks' home there before.
There was, yes, but it's not at that spot.
Okay.
Well, she saw the.
So she visited.
Yeah, she visited the old folks' home
in that place.
in that
She
place.
was not impressed.
She was not impressed at all. It was completely deplorable. I mean, absolutely no mattress. I mean, the place filthy up, and you can see how, you can imagine how these old people are being kept there. Whether they're eating properly. I mean, it was something that, got to her, and immediately she asked the superintendent to find a land space for her.
Wow.
And all of those things were worked out. Today we have a structure already standing, awaiting dedication very soon.
So with the people who were in that previous old folks home, are they the ones who are going to go to the new old folks home?
Well,
or how is who are those going there?
Well, it has to do with these elderly people. And of course, that facility, which the facility wants to multiply, duplicate in each of the 15 counties,
Okay.
build similar structures, it certainly will not be able to accommodate all of the old people, right?
Sure.
But there will be some criteria set, maybe moving out for the most needy.
Okay.
The poorest of the poor elderly people who really don't have any, because some of us abandon our old people, we know that. At least we have some capacity of taking care of them, but we don't take care of them. There are others who absolutely, so the first lady wants to reach out to people who are really in need. She's actually helping, everyone in the category of underprivileged, but there are also category, whose situations are so very difficult. So
is she going to manage that place?
Well, there are lots of plans in place actually about that.
Okay.
But the idea is restoring, the kind of dignity they'll have. Along the way, lots of things will happen in terms of the management and everything. But the first thing wants to ensure that adult people have the kind of dignity they deserve.
So there are plans to duplicate that.
Yes, there are plans, and
other counties.
that facility is being undertaken by the Claho Foundation, which is the First Lady's own initiative, and this is where she is going out, and she's grateful to well-meaning Liberians who are giving some support. It may be a dime, it may be the smallest of what you can give, but the first is appreciative, because it is true that these elderly people will have somewhere better to be. The government is not sponsoring this. The government is not giving a dime to it. The first is using her own resources in terms of reaching out to private partners, private donors, to help her to get this kind of betterment for the Liberian people. So you also have, like you were saying, the City of Hope. That project is over 70% complete and is a signature project of the First Lady. A very huge facility. So at that place you have an academic building. That's for children who will be from the age of 3 to 6 years. the first lady wants to recruit 200 girls initially from all across the country. And these are less fortunate children. She wants to get the poorest of the poor, those who really deserve it. Some of our mothers who go to sell the market and the children are left just fanning around having no hope. She wants to collect some of these children, take them to the home there. They will start from early childhood, that is from nursery, up to 12th grade. How they are fed, she wants to introduce a new way of life to these kids. She also have in that place a facility for vocational training. We have street girls. We have other girls who do not have that ability to acquire skills or to go to school. But with a kind of skills training, which will train their hands and their minds to earn something for themselves, is going to do a lot in empowering them. So there is a vocational training center which is not only just going to serve those street girls, but also the disadvantaged youth we call Zogos. So there's also an accommodation, dormitories for them, because when you enter there, you're not going to come outside. Your feeding, accommodation, welfare, everything is on the first lady.
Wow! In total, because this is huge.
It's very huge. It's very huge.
So to have 200 children,
200 girls, in fact.
Then you have underprivileged young people, girls who are going there to have vocational
training. And what's important about that is after the training, within a 6 to 8 month period, you're going to be connected with employers who will employ you, or you can do internship and begin to get on your own. There are also facilities.
So with that, these girls after the training will be put out and
to the community. Other sets are recruited.
Oh,
yes.
Wow,
so you also have recreational facilities there. You have staff quarter. You have clinics. You have a lot of other structures. It's a whole big complex. So everything's going to go there is a realization of the first lady's dream of providing hope for destitute Liberians. Hope through quality education, through vocational training, hope for a better and a brighter future, a hope that they too, in spite of their situation, can contribute. They're important to their country and they can contribute. So the facility is going up and is massive,
complete,
over 70% complete. Over 70% complete.
Proper when it's going to be dedicated?
Well, we are hopeful that the work is progressing very well, and very soon it will be done. That's technical work. Right now, you can put a time, a date to it, because a lot of work is being done. It's a huge facility, and again, the first lady is counting on Liberians, well-meaning individuals, come out there and support this initiative, First Lady, because it's important. It's not for her benefit. Obviously, it's not going to benefit her, and that's why she's doing it for our people, the women, the girls, and people are going to be employed too. People are going to be employed. So if you're a young lady who have skills, you can train. Well, you're going to definitely get an employment there to do some work, train, and going to get paid. So you see how the First Lady's activities tied up with the agenda. That's the proper agenda for prosperity and development. Yes, lifting people from poverty. Our economy is so difficult. It's a little bit tied up, and the First Lady is in her own way is supporting the economy of the country to see how it lifts up. Now you also have
sitting by their radio and listening to all of this, especially hearing about the city of hope. I'm excited about that. Just listening to what everything that is going into it, and the amount of young people who are going to get whose lives are going to be better as a result of that. I know you say it's over 70% complete.
Yeah, over 70%.
And I just want to know from you whether, in terms of recruitment for people who are going to occupy that space, especially for the children, is it already ongoing, or it's something that is going to happen after, the place is dedicated?
Well, I cannot, be very exact on that point. But what I can say is the First Lady is passionate about this. she's really, really passionate about this. I mean, she's already started to do something like that. As I speak to you, she has like 6 children whom she's recruited from the orphanages. You know, she always visits the orphanages. She got 6 children now. They're living a very better life. I mean, a new way of life. Everything she ever want to provide to her biological children, she's giving to them. I mean, that's just an example of what she wants to do for the girls. And those children were not recommended. She didn't get a recommendation from people. Oh, this is a child. No, she herself went to these orphanages and was just moved. You know, so it's not like you know you want to get. No, it's sometimes it's just she's moved in the spirit. Oh, this little girl is good. Let's see how we get her. 6 little children are there now. She wants to recruit about 200, and she wants to do it in a way that everyone feels, you know, a part of it. That's why it's going to be 200, and however she will decide, you know, the best way in terms of recruitment. Because if you remember, for the girls who went to China, she had asked that we take 2 from each county, you know, and at the end of the day, we had 30 of them, right? So, well, we're more focused now. She's more focused now on seeing that building come to its completion with everything running in there, and then the next stage will be how to get the people in. But again, she's grateful to all those who support, you know, is making this dream come through. And it's all about empowerment. Like we are about to talk about this Army Wives project. Like I said,
before we go to the Army Wives project, I want you to throw a little light. You know what you're saying is very, very. I know, you know, mothers listening to us around the country are very excited about this, and I like the idea that this is going to the poorest of poor. Yeah, and not, you know, looking at, you know, somebody saying, let my relative come be a part of it, but the first thing is looking at people who really need this, you know, transformation, and to do that with 200 girls is like transforming it. People say when you make a life of if you educate a girl child, you educate a nation. For me, this is very, very huge. Yeah, because you're looking at the time you have all of these children in school. They're going to be well fed. They're going to be taken care of from nursery all the way to 12th grade. This is huge.
It's
and I'm
huge.
sure all the mothers who children will be a part of this will just be praying that, you know, there is always support to this foundation, so that you know their children's lives can be better. And any well-meaning Liberian will also want this to last, because this is like changing a whole generation.
Changing a whole generation. That's it. Changing the entire generation.
But I heard you just mentioned the girls from China. How are they doing?
Well, they are doing very well. Again, this is part of the First Lady's quest, her effort to empower young girls and women. The point is, as you know, like I said, she always puts herself as an example that people, young girls, will see her. She has, you know, told a lot of, meetings with the women that as a young lady coming up, meeting with our president, having access to whatever she wanted, she was not yet satisfied. What she wanted was independence in terms of being able to provide for herself, being able to do something for herself, to stand up in her own child in a way of being a complement, right? A kind of support to her husband, right? And not being dependent on him. So she has had a struggle to go through. She went to college, got her degree, that's the university, got her degree. She did the practice in nursing. She owned now her own businesses in New York. So she has an experience of standing up to be somebody who would just be a support to her husband, other than becoming, you know, dependent, right? So in a society like Liberia, where we're having the issue about jobs so difficult and all of that, if the woman, if the girls, if they can have some kind of skills, you know, to do something use their hands to earn money, they can improve their own lives and not be dependent on. And a lot of these things will stop, the vulnerability of girls falling prey to SGBV and all of that. So from that perspective, she's been able to engage through the Cloud Foundation, this initiative, taking 30 girls to China. They were trained, they are back. That was the first portion to this. The second part was that the company was to come and establish here a regional factory to serve the West African sub-region. Well, the COVID-19 has put a serious impediment to this. So we're still hopeful as a country. The first is still hopeful, but at least the girls got the training. They got a different experience. They've seen something that makes their life better. And some of them, already have passion for the field. They're doing something in that, but it doesn't kill the entire dream of making sure that we have this company coming. Again, the company's coming is dependent on the kind of negotiation with the government, because this is what the president wants to do, but it has to operate in Liberia, and she is not the president. She doesn't have all the authority, so all that has to do with the arrangements and negotiations, it goes to the government. And whatever way it comes out through, fine, then, because it has to be in the interest to all the Liberian people, not because she wants, to get these girls empowered, to be trainers. Then the companies come to, take advantage and want to take more than Liberia can benefit. The government is taking care of that. So we're hopeful about those developments, and hopefully right after this whole thing subsides, the COVID-19 subsides, hopefully if the negotiations are good, with Liberia having, better benefit on a larger scale, then we'll see these things happening.
Okay. So you were talking about the Army Wives.
Yeah, the Army Wives project. Again, like I said, the first lady never, go to a place, wherever she went, there's got to be some level of transformation. She's a woman of her word, and she is a mother. So when she visited about 2 years ago, when she went to the Edward B. and Kesley barracks, every Armed Forces Day, lots of speeches, lots of celebrations, only focusing on the men in arm, the men and women in arm, because they are soldier women too. So what about people who are in the background, who are behind the scenes there, who are supporting their husbands, making sure that they defend the country well? Who's talking about them? So she wanted to go to say a personal thanks to them. And also, at the time, she was moving around, having meetings with women groups. I remember she went to the Popo Beach community. She met the women there. She didn't invite them to, her office. She also went to that slum community. The women don't have any place to stand. She was in a zone with them standing to see how they're faring. So it was after that and the other couple of meetings, she went to the army barracks. So when she engaged with the women, they told her that they already had a system, a program in place where some of them who had the skills, they were training the others who didn't have skills. And this is one important thing. If women should rise up, if women should be promoted, if women should advance, there's got to be women supporting women. And that was a brilliant idea, that women themselves were supporting fellow women. What they didn't have is the infrastructure. So the first they said, if this is what you're doing, I'm impressed. I will build you a modern vocational training center. Because what they were doing is they would have to wait for the only school in that area for the students to come out, finish their day's lessons before the customers after 2, 3, and have limited hours, and then limited capacity to take more students in. So not just for the barracks, but the community around there in that shuffling area and beyond. So now that the first lady has fulfilled this, right now that project is over 90%, and it will soon be dedicated as soon as it's completed. That project has the training hall, so you have different classes. You have
accommodate
more people now, so the women will register more people. At least they after a cycle, after some months, they graduate. And then you have also offices. You also have a kind of almost a Palawa hut, but it's a real big hall. She's built for them, so it's almost like a women's center. And that's not just going to benefit the army wives, but hundreds of other girls and women who are looking for a way to sustain themselves. So that again
It's
is a
really dignified
major
of them,
boost.
right?
Yes,
Wow.
it gives them the opportunity to work for themselves. Sometimes you may do other work, but if you don't realize impacting other people, you don't feel good. So they too are contributing to the development of their country by empowering other lives. And the First Lady is in full support of that. So that project is up. The project in Purple Beach community to build a cold storage, because that's what the women told her that they have to dry the fish, the smoke get in their eyes, they got a lot of problems with that, and all of those things. They don't have a cold storage, they don't have a place to wait for the fishermen to come. So they're going to ask them to provide a plot of land, and after that the project will begin. So again, the First Lady is a passionate, a people-centered, and also a developmental-oriented person
What
who
other
wants to
first
see.
lady will Liberians have ever wished for?
Wow.
Yeah, just sitting listening to you and hearing about the involvement of the first lady with the rest of the women in Liberia is just huge. And let's end on this. She's you, and so that we open the lines to hear from those who are listening to us. I'm sure there are some questions also they might want to ask you.
Okay, so the She's You movement, actually, we've actually been talking about it, because all of these engagements, all of these initiatives, all of these activities are part of the First Lady She's You movement, and it simply means that the First Lady is you, as a mother who goes to your farm, come late, who's struggling as a single parent with the children's school fees, who doesn't have that means to empower yourself. She's you, that girl who's been abused there, who
Oh,
has
now I
no
get it.
one. Yeah,
Now
who
I
has
get it.
no one. So the First Lady is like any woman,
Okay.
because she understands, even as a lady who's a media manager, she feels like the situation you go through too, as a woman who has to do your professional work, yet you have your domestic, your family to take care of all of that. So every woman in this country, every girl, every situation you go
Whether
through,
you're underprivileged,
whether you're
she's she
underprivileged,
feels
she is you. Yeah, she feels your
she feels what you're going
situation.
through,
Yeah,
and not just feeling it, but finding a way to
way
make
to
sure
help
that
you
your life is
is
better.
better.
And I hope a lot of women, who come in contact with the First Lady, take advantage of this opportunity, whatever opportunity, like 30 girls going to China, back now. I hope they're using this, the opportunity given
Yeah,
them to better
yeah,
the lives of
yeah,
others,
sure.
to help others, like the Army wives
The
who
Unmatched
were
Project.
treating others.
Yeah.
But then she understood that they were going through all of these constraints. She dignified them, building this hall for them to and have offices. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
offices,
that, I know they're
sanitary
very,
area,
very
latrines.
excited about
They're
that.
excited
Yeah,
about that.
excited
And
about
so
that.
people in that vicinity can take advantage
Of it,
to
to
get
also learn
trained,
something. Yeah.
get trained. And that project was actually through the office of the First Lady. That is government's funding that goes to the office of the First Lady. That's about 100,000 US dollars. Yes, but it's nothing, because it's going towards the transformation of lives. If a woman is
Another
empowered
first lady would think that I can use this money for something
for
else, but
something
she'll think
else,
about empowering other
yeah,
women, making sure that their lives get better. Because whatever you learn from over there, any woman who goes there learns something. Tomorrow she can do something for her family that will make the lives of her children better.
and
So
definitely the
that's
economy,
yeah,
by that small
it
little
booms.
step,
Yeah.
the economy booms, because if one person can go above the dollar or $2 a day, being able to earn money and eat what he wants to eat, begin to build their family well, the economy is getting better by that. So empowerment plays a very key role, and the First Lady is someone who is open up to do as much as she can. I tell you, there's so much on her plate to do. So it's like whenever she goes out, it's like asking the women too to support her, rally around her, support her in whatever way you can, so that these things come out, for the benefit of the people of Liberia. There are lots of girls, a lot of young men as well, who are being sponsored, whose school fees are being paid, financial aid and scholarship, they're benefiting from that. There are other orphanages, is almost like on a periodic basis that they get the food and non-food supplies. We're talking about over 30 orphanages in Montserrat, Margibi. We've done some in Bumming and in Nima, in fact. So she's extending sometimes for these orphanages because the office of the first lady deals directly with these initiatives. She's been able to rehabilitate a lot of them, the schools in them, and done a lot. So that one too is because of the kind of limited amount that she gets, that she's been able to move out of the box, establish the Kaho Foundation, so that she can be able to realize those things that she wants. Yeah, wants to see Liberians benefit from, instead of just waiting. Oh, this is what I have, this is what I will use. No, she's the kind of person too who thinks outside of the box and is a workaholic. So I mean, we are grateful to have this kind of first lady and to have a collabo of two humanitarians, the president and the first lady
any
being
of them appear
humanitarians.
anywhere they want, just to touch a life, touch lives, and not leaving without somebody feeling their presence, and which is very, very important. I hear a lot of people say, the first lady gets a lot of money from the budget, but when just sitting here and just listening to you talk about all of the involvement of the first lady, then you wonder, because it's so small that she has to go out and make sure that she lobbies to
Definitely.
get support for the things she's doing for the Liberian people.
And we don't talk about all of these things because even people want the medical bills. People, I mean, the first lady office receives hundreds of letters every day. Yeah, and some of these letters, some of them we have to respond to them. Obviously, budgetary constraints, we can't respond to all letters, but there are a lot of things that this person is doing for people personally. Sometimes she say, don't talk it out to the public, let it be okay. So we go low with some of these things, we don't bring it up. But yeah, there's this woman from EWA who interacted with the first lady. I mean, she said she had a liver problem, and all her hope for living longer was diminishing. She sells kobo. Even with that situation, she has to go to the heat of the fire, cooking the food and all of that. Several times she said she had fallen off. She had to get up because she has 6 children. So who will take care of them? Her husband is not educated, he's not working. So that woman interacted with the first lady. And she told us that even if she had not helped her, the first lady, doing a workout, exercising, she met the first lady. Securities were there to stop her. They said, no, leave them. Leave her. Let her come. And the way she talked to her, the lady said she already felt okay. And the first lady just ordered her. Yes. Today, her medication, according to the prescription, she received in the hospital, the office is taking care of that. And there was a situation in
that woman already go well. The idea that
the first
lady
lady
attention. To even talk to her, she was like,
as if the first lady had even known her, the kind of attention, and that's what many people don't know. The first lady is a kind of person who you may have a different idea of who she is, but after meeting with her, there's fully a different impression of who she is.
Of her
yes,
be
different.
After
you meet with her,
you think different.
You think differently. She's a mother, a very, very passionate person who loves people. And she says it's not because of this position but it's because of her nature and her struggle through life. So that's why I call it her philosophy, but it is a motto of the foundation to bless as many people as God has blessed her. She feels that's her motive in life. That's why God has brought her to the kind of prominence she is, just to look back and help people better their lives. So it's the center of everything she does. Whether she's first lady or not, she is that person. And she's very simple. If it's left of her, she's going to just drive her own car and move around. But I mean, she's under the kind of security that she has to be under because of the position.
Wow. Well, Arthur Douglas is the Director of Press in the Office of First Lady Claire Maria, and he's our guest this morning, and we're looking at, we're talking about the First Lady's involvement with the President's tour of the nation and other engagements she's involved with as First Lady of the Republic of Liberia. I'm going to open up the lines now for you. I don't know if the lines are online. 077-8641-549 is the number to call, and you'll be live on the Super Morning Show to talk about your own impression relative to what our First Lady is doing for the people of this country. Let me talk to my very first caller. Good morning.